¿Dónde están los gasolinas, por favor? Sin gasolina. ¿Qué pasa sin gasolina?
Is it a cafe racer? Is it a naked sportster? Who cares? It's the 700CL-X and it's one of the latest steeds to hit the showrooms from our Chinese friends CFMOTO. Its 696cc twin-cylinder engine makes a respectable 74 brake horsepower and 68 Nm of torque. There's a modest but not negligible electronic suite, including 2 power modes and cruise control, and its lovely low 800mm seat height makes it accessible for even the most vertically challenged rider.
Well, ladies and gents, I was promised a day of sun, sea and CF motos. It's not really to be, is it? 2 out of 3 ain't bad. If you've been watching the videos that me and Chris have put out, the Let's Go Racing series, you'll have seen us racing a CF moto, but it's not one of these. It's the it's the CFMOTO NK650 chassis, but it's got the 700 engine in it. So this engine is, loosely speaking, the engine that's in the race bike that we've been riding. Now, this is a standard engine, so this one's making somewhere in the region of 75 brake horsepower. Let me give you a wipe. He's a big lad, isn't he? By hell. Yeah, this one's making about 75 brake horsepower. The one in the race bikes, Nero 100, that's had quite a lot of titivating, so to speak. But it does have a similar note to it. It's a fairly basic spec, but let's not worry about that. There's more important things than games of spec sheet top trumps, and the most important thing is how it makes you feel when you're riding it. So I'm going to take it for a ride. Hey up, his shoes have fallen off. It might not have the feel of an expensive superbike, but flinging it around these corners is a proper laugh. It just feels as though it doesn't weigh anything. Don't get me wrong, with the suspension set the way it is a little bit bouncy, but if anything, that just adds to the fun. And now it's raining. Just as I've started to enjoy myself on this bike, the heavens have opened. These roads are fairly ropey, and it's giving the suspension a decent workout. The shock is fairly soft, and there's quite a lot of you get quite a lot of weight transfer when you grab the brakes. So I think if it was bone dry and we started really pushing the thing, it'd be a bit backwards and forwards with the weight transfer, but if that makes sense. And when you're on roads that are a bit smoother like this, that soft suspension actually isn't a problem at all. It makes the bike feel as though it's just gliding along. You've got a bit of a Rolls-Royce type feel to it, but not at the Rolls-Royce end of the pricing spectrum. You have to ask yourself whether or not you want to ride a Chinese bike. And there's a lot of people that'll say, oh, I'm not riding a Chinese bike. But let's face it, you know, we all use things that are made in China all of the time, and we don't really worry too much about it these days, do we? I know historically Chinese build quality hasn't really been what it should. Oh fuck, are we still wet here? Yeah, we're still wet here. I know Chinese build quality hasn't always been up to par, but it's 2021. Come on, give me a break. Cut me some slack. We've been racing a bike with this engine in it and a tuned version of this engine, and it's been bulletproof. Alright, we've had some teething problems, but it's been, you know, they've been electrical gremlins, not, you know, not mechanical problems with the engine. The 44 teeth CFMOTO bike, that's been, you know, that's up at 100 brake horsepower. This has got about 75. You know, you'd expect it to last forever, you know, at that level of detune, shall we call it. I was slightly worried about the single disc front brakes on this, but in actual fact the brakes are reasonably strong. all things considered, and I think that's probably a lot to do with the fact that it's such a light bike. I mean, it's, you know, the front brake's got enough power to lock the front wheel up if you need it to. Alright, the ABS is going to kick in and stop that happening, but I can feel it locking up. You know, that brake is as good as you need on the road. Well. Just driving past Baron's house. Spec-wise, there's not a ridiculous amount to write home about. You've got 2 riding modes, Eco and Sport, which are so easy to flick between, it hurts. You literally just do that. Eco mode, Sport mode. It's one button, it couldn't be any easier. And it does make a difference. Eco, it just feels a bit flat, whereas you click it into Sport and instantly it's just got that extra little pep. Probably most noticeable at the, you know, when you first open the throttle, that little squirt of power there. But yeah, you've got more power all the way through, which is nice. And I guess on a bike that's, what are we, 74.5 brake horsepower, I think. You know, I think you're probably going to want it in a mode where it lets you have all of them brake horsepowers. You get cruise control, which is nice. Again, that's dead easy to use. It's similar to the BMW cruise control switch. If you ever use that, you just have that one to flick it on and off, and then you choose your speed with them two. Dead easy. And yeah, I know there's going to be a ton of people that say, what do you want cruise control on a bike for? Well, if you've used it, you'll know it's really, really good. Not on roads like this, of course, but if you've got anywhere to go, any motorway stuff, dual carriageway stuff, it makes riding A, easier, and B, safer. And your license is safer, because we all know how easy it is to accidentally creep over the speed limit on a bike. Stick cruise control on, it doesn't happen. There's no shifter or blipper, which does give the bike a slightly less premium feel. Everything from the soft suspension to the lack of tech, even to the sound it makes, it's a little bit tractory, but I say that in the best possible way. It's like it feels raw. It doesn't feel too electronically faffed with. You know, it could almost be carbureted. It's got that slightly imperfect feel to it that I just like it. I just like it. I'm not entirely sure about these handlebars. They're oh, should we do it? Cheers, love. Not entirely sure about the handlebars. They're a little bit BMX-y. Something a bit pedestrian about them. You know, like the type of handlebars you might expect to see on your grandmother's push bike. This kind of road is just perfectly suited to this kind of bike. I know for a fact I'd be tempted to break the speed limit if I was on a bike with 200 brake horsepower, so perhaps it's a good thing I'm on something that doesn't, because I don't need any more points. The sun is out, the sky is blue, there's not a cloud to spoil the view, but it's raining, wah 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 wah, raining in my heart. Oh, whoa, bit of a dirty surface there. If you want one of these, you're going to pay about £6.5 grand. If you want something European or even Japanese, you're going to be paying, you know, maybe twice that for you know, an equivalent model. Well, I went in there a little bit hot, didn't I? I think I got away with it though. Don't think anyone noticed. Every single traffic light's red. Ugh. What is wrong with you? You can tell straight away it's a bike that likes to be flicked from one side to the other. It's mega light. You've got these big old handlebars that kind of just help you lever it from one side to the other. It's got a naughty little rasp to it. Sounds like it means business. I don't like the look of the exhaust, I must admit. Maybe a bit of a Marmite-y thing, that exhaust. It's not for me. Maybe it'll grow on me. But I like the noise it makes. How much of the road do you want, mate? Christ O'Reilly. This is more like it. Now these twisty bends here are just what the doctor ordered. Well, they would have been if they want a tractor pulling a trailer. Tell you what, she handles well. What a lovely little thing this is to throw around these tight corners. All I'd say is that suspension is just a little bit too soft. There was a couple of them with slight bumps in the middle of the corner and just before I was turning in, and just unsettled the bike a little bit too much, a little bit more than I wanted it to. And it's raining again. Oh shit. I think what happened there was the key somehow got tangled up in the handlebars and it turned the ignition off. That's weird. I thought I'd broken it. Who thinks the new bridge looks a bit like Fid the Sloth from Ice Age? If you've seen Ice Age, you'll know who Fid the Sloth is. The old CFMOTO 700, the CFMOTO 700CL-X. You want to do something about that speech impediment, Sonny Jim? How's the CFMOTO, son? Oh, it's swell. Really, really swell. Absolutely super. I like the riding position on this thing. It's certainly very comfortable. I've been on the bike for probably the best part of 4 hours now, and there genuinely is no body ache. There's no achy wrists. It's a comfortable bike. I can't really knock it in that respect. I mean, it looks like a comfortable bike, doesn't it? I think they must put these fuckers down when the train is leaving King's Cross. Why are we waiting? I think I got the wrong tune there to that song, didn't I? I think I mixed 2 different songs. DJ Booth, mixing all night long. DJ Boothy in the house, playing all the bangers from the 90s, the noughties and now. Get your bangers out for DJ Boothy. Playing all the massive bangers. It's a little bit chuggy. If you let the revs drop too low, it does that diesely thing, that. So you just gotta keep it revving. Just gotta rev the old girl. Get her revved up. Go on, lad, get her revved up. One thing, if I'm gonna be super critical about this bike, put my teeth back in there. I don't like the indicator. It's a bit sort of, well, the indicator itself is all right. I don't like the switch. It's just a bit flimsy and a bit floppy and just like. Horn's nice. Meep meep. That's very Roadrunner-esque, that, isn't it? Oh, I've come to a dead end. What am I going to do now?
Coincidentally, or perhaps not, the CFMOTO's power and torque figures are almost identical to those of the Yamaha MT-07, a bike that plenty of us already know and love. Because of that, during my test ride, I found myself constantly comparing the 700CL-X to the MT-07. But the reality is, the 2 bikes are actually very different. Whilst the Yamaha's flighty, excitable and a little bit leery, the CFMOTO's calm, collected and a bit more docile. And at £6,299, it's about 600 quid cheaper. And if that's not enough, to help you get over the fact that it's Chinese, like all CFMOTO models, the CL-X comes with a 4-year parts and labour warranty included. nice.